Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at some gridiron stuff, but nothing particular, just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I have a rifle, a blaster, a helmet, a hat, a knife set, and just some stuff, little nicks and knacks that maybe you want to purchase in your next order that you're combining, and you're like, hey, you know what? I think that's going to look good in my display. That's going to look good for some photography, or how I just want it because it looks cool. But it's just some little things that we're going to go over, and it'll probably be the end of a lot of the gridiron stuff that I'll have until I get, I think I have one or two more things for the vamp coming. No doors, so unfortunately you won't get to see the doors, but hey, you guys can look online and see other people that have the doors. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this. Again, just for fun, just see what you guys like. Please comment. I don't care if the stuff is expensive. If you think it's too expensive, then don't buy it. Go to 5 and Below. They have some really cool stuff for displays, but it's not going to be the same quality. It's not going to be the same paint, and that is fine. It is perfectly fine. When you make a comment like, no loadout should cost more than a figure. Well, you know what? That's like saying, well, you know what? No car should cost more than a house. They're made by two different companies. If Hasbro was making these loadouts that were $40 to go on their $25 figure, then I would agree with you. But they're not. You can buy a G.I. Joe figure, you can buy a Valorverse figure, you can buy a Marvel Legends figure, base, enjoy it how it is, but then you see something else, a different accessory, and it doesn't always have to be gridiron, it can be arsenal or pew-pews, right? There's a bunch of 3D printers that they're made to enhance your toy. So if you think it's too expensive, hey, to say, hey, this is too expensive, too pricey for me, I'm not going to buy it. But when you make comments like that, it just shows your ignorance. End of story. But I'm going to get out of here. We're going to take a look at this here. I guess I'm not going to get out of here. We're going to take a look at this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you are notified every time I drop a gridiron video or anything else for that matter. Now let's go. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is this. I think it is a mashup. It is basically Han Solo's blaster pistol. And the design is really nice on it. Again, to me it looks identical to what Han Solo's blaster is. Obviously, I would say there's probably something that's a little bit different. I don't know what it is. But this was, I believe, a freebie that came with it. And I mean, if you want to use this as a G.I. Joe or a Cobra pistol, you are more than welcome to. Again, no one's going to take your toys. I have a hard time not seeing it just as a regular blaster and not an actual weapon. But Mars Industries, who knows, they make all kinds of things. Then we're going to take a look at this head, this skull. Now, this guy's kind of becoming one of my... He's becoming my display model, I guess you could say. This Valorverse figure here. I guess until he finally breaks, I'll probably use him. So you got this nice skull. It can be used for so many different things, right? There's a hole on top where I guess you could insert some sort of, you know, some sort of prop that made it look like that's how he got killed. But you look at this, you got some nice paint down there. At least I think it's paint, or maybe just paint on the inside. So that's how it shadows. You got your teeth, cracked skulls. I mean, this thing looks really, really nice. And again, you can use it for Dr. Mindbender. You can just have it sitting right up there to show how far he's willing to go to get an experiment. It does pop right on here. And it's tight enough that it stays on. No popping action, so if you were to use maybe one of the newer, use it on one of the newer Joe figures, or maybe possibly Hasbro Legends, I'm not sure. You might need to use some sticky tack, but this could be a Ghost Rider for you. This could be a Red Skull. This could just be some dude that lost his face. Who knows? Maybe he's sitting there and you need something in the back to show how long it's been since somebody has been here. But again, it looks nice. You can move it back and forth. Really isn't going to move up and down too much. All right. And then we have the backpack. Now, we've kind of touched on the backpack system. We've kind of touched on the backpack system just a little bit here with the vamp and everything. So this is how the backpack sits, right? and it just kind of pops right up. And if I want to take this one here, it's going to slide right down. And what this actually does is this helps keep them from creating a peg to fit properly, because the pegs are always different on every figure. G.I. Joe pegs are going to be different. Where the secondary sits, it causes a problem. So this one did go to this, and quickly we'll take a look at the detail on it. And you'd have your pouches here. You have your radio. You have your grenade, smoke grenade. You got your little latches there. Again, it looks extremely nice. Really nice here. Again, the holes here, you are able to hold stuff here. Like you can put magazines in there if you want, different things like that. Now, here's the backpack, and the question is, how hard is it to get on and off? Now, one of the reasons why I like using this figure I have here is because the base Valaverse figures come with absolutely nothing on it. Also, Valaverse load up a plate carriers are easy to pull off, unlike the Joes. The Joes, you really have to do most of them you have to do a pop and swap if they have them. But let's say you have a plain buck. Doesn't matter what figure it is. You have a plain buck. It could be G.I. Joe. It could be Valaverse. All you have to do is pull one arm off at a time. Again, this resin that they use is pliable, so it is going to move back and forth, and it's going to hold on there, so you don't really have to worry. Now, they make it look like they're going to latch together. They don't, but to me, that's not a big deal. The fact that they're this easy to pop in, you're going to have hooks, so if they have a leg holster, they can usually attach to it, or a knife sheath that's going to connect onto it. That way, it doesn't look like it's just going to hang here and then slide down. So, but when you look at the detail here, they just, they put a lot of detail into it for something that's going to be really small. But again, pop it on. Just going to slide it like so. And that is how easy these things go on. All right. We'll throw his skull mask on, his skull face, and take the backpack and throw it on here. As a matter of fact, for right now, we're going to throw this one on because I think it matches the way his colors look just a little bit better. So, I really should have used a different color figure just because you can't see black on black all that well, but you guys get the point there. You can understand exactly how it is. So we'll push this over here. Now we'll take a look at this big rifle. So we have this nice big giant sniper. It's got the suppressor already built in. You got a scope that you can see directly through, which is awesome. You can take pictures, make it look through, and you can get that eye perfectly in there. All right, removable magazine that does stay in, and it's not tiny. Again, I mentioned some other manufacturers, they do their magazines and they're tiny, like little tiny hands. I have tiny hands, but I don't want tiny mags in my magwell. Just doesn't seem to work. But here you have wonderful design, paint across here, which is going to match your magazine, which I actually absolutely love. That looks great there. Scope looks good. The barrel, the fact that you can see underneath here, which gives you real depth, a real look of how the rifle should look. And then here's the side. And we will put we'll put this in his hand in a bit. We'll do that at the end. And then you have your little GS. Now here's your bipod. Now what they do with their bipods is they just pull it straight out like this. So rather than trying to make them actuate up and down, that will give you a second one that you're going to pop on. Now when you look at that detail there, you can see that it is meant to look like it is going to stretch out or stretch out to look like this, or to go back in. Now let's say you have an issue with it here because his hand won't fit on properly. You can easily just turn it around and throw it up like that. Now, someone may come in here and say, "Hey, that's not how we use it in the military." I don't know. Again, it's just something possible that you can do. And look at all the little touches that they have right there. It looks awesome. So we'll pop these off for right now and move this to the side. All right. Quickly, we'll take a look at these hats. Now, I have this beachhead here. And again, as you can see, this was my second beachhead. So I played around with them. I gave them Marvel Legends pistol with it. But it's a pistol with a suppressor. One of my favorite Violaverse weapons. I think this one looks really good, and the tiny mag does not look bad. Oops. Now you know who I think has tiny mags. Anyway, and then I put the Sergeant Slaughter. But it's not a vest. Whatever, carrier on them. I think it looks really good, but right now I have this hat on here, and we can take a look at this here. You have your Gridiron logo. I love the blue cap. Blue, black, that's what I would mostly wear. You know, another Gridiron logo on the back. Look at the detail on that, where it actually looks like it is buttoned up. So this is directly for an operator, if you want. It does have some pliability to it. And as you can see, it just pops right on there. Now, it looks a little big on the back. Again, nothing is going to be perfect, but it's up to you. If that bothers you too much, then you don't buy it. If it doesn't bother you and you think this looks pretty awesome, beachhead running around, there you go. And again, you can use it on many, many other figures. I would say most with big hair, it's not going to work on. But I have this Duke right here. I'm going to pop his helmet off. Let's see if it fits on Duke. I mean, tell me, look at that. Tell me this guy is not a Little League coach. You get rid of the gun, get rid of the bandolier. This is a Little League coach rating to go berate some little kid for striking out and costing him the Little League championship. It is perfect. I actually really like this on Duke. Dude, we're just gonna go over here, beachhead. Here, you can have Duke's helmet for right now. All right, probably makes more sense for you to have that if you're going into battle and Duke's going in to berate some little kids. All right, so I know you guys are looking, going, what is that thing in the back? Well, this is the Predator mask. And I think a lot of people, they looked at it and they said, hey, that's going to go perfect with drawing a blank for what his guy's name is. So please tell me in the comment. Tell me, I can't believe you forgot that guy's name. I know it. It's at the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I digress. Now, there is no way that this helmet was going to fit on with all of this hair, which poses a problem because I think a lot of people wanted this. And when you look at it, the color seems to match pretty well, right? So, what can we do about this? Well, easy solution is take another head, this being a Violaverse head, and just take one of the balaclavas and push it down. Now, if you've been following with the channel, I can't find all my balaclava heads. I have a couple, but I have a whole army load of them, as anyone that has multiple Violaverse figures will have a whole bunch of these. I can't seem to find mine. So I found this one. I got a couple that are sitting in different bags, but this will fit on any of the other figures. Unfortunately, let's say you only collect classified and you got the new 60th anniversary figure. Unfortunately, the neck peg is too small, so it won't fit on here. But if you find one of these, there's going to be other ones that are still going to use this size. All you want to do is use that, pop it on here. This way you don't have to ruin your figure. I can't believe I can't think of his name. Shadow Tracker. You don't have to ruin your Shadow Tracker head. So, let's take a look at this thing here, though. He has the 2 gas masks on here. Lots of battle damage. Now remember, this is all hand painted, all right? So this thing looks so badass. You can see the eyes through there. Look at that. It's hard, but it is open. So those eyes are open. You got the tentacles or the dreads kind of just hanging down. Again, this looks so sweet. And the design, the detail, look at the gridiron right there. So, and then again, this thing just slides right on. It's not going to fall off, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can move it back and forth, as these are pliable enough that they're going to move a little bit out of the way. You don't want to turn them, stretch them too much and break them, although you could always heat them and then move them to where you need to be. All right. So what we were looking at is how well does this gun, because I think it's going to fit perfectly on this shadow tracker who, let's be honest, at this point, he is like a predator. He is searching out. He's seeking to destroy. Yes, I just worked a Metallica song into this. And no, I'm not a huge Metallica fan. All right. But does the gun fit? Now, let's be honest. It is Valiverse. Not Valiverse. I apologize, Mark. It is Gridiron. So, they're meant to fit in their hands. But of course, this guy is much bigger. And this gun was not meant to go with him. But you should be able to use pretty much any gun that you want. There we go. I'm going to pop this off right now. As I always talk about, sometimes you have to remove some stuff just to make sure. I'm going to pry this hand open. I always say this, Valiverse creates those hands, the C-cup hand, I don't like, because unfortunately I'd rather just pry their hand open, and as they clasp it, it actually looks like they're grabbing it. So there you go with this. Let's see if I don't think we're gonna be able to get the head. Oh, look at that. Woo! I was wrong. Look how sweet that looks. That is pretty badass. Now, do we want to have the bipod down like this? Now, again, I'm not going to be able to get the bipod going backwards if I do the collapsed one. But this we have here, so. This is a sweet-ass looking. Now, this right here is a customized figure. Look at that. That is badass. Anyway, all right. Now we have one more thing to look at. And this will be, I wouldn't be surprised if people complain. It's too expensive. Again, don't buy it. And that is this bloody knife set. Now, this thing, I believe, runs about 18 bucks. It looks like something that's going to be sitting in your home. But when you look at it, there are blood splatters all over it. You got your little Gridiron logo, which looks amazing. All this is hand painted. So when you hear people talk about, hey, every time a speck of paint hits something, it costs money. Imagine that, but you have someone doing this all by hand. All right? So, on this here, we're going to have some bloodied scissors. Now, they do not open. But if you look at this, this is something that everyone has in their knife set. The jar opener or nutcracker. Yes, this is a jar opener or a bottle cap opener, if you didn't know that. Along with it, you can also crack nuts. Not those nuts, you sick pervs. You got your blood up here. You got where the scissors are going to, come apart. I mean, the detail is so wonderful on everything that Gridiron tends to do. But this looks directly out of your home, minus the blood, I hope. And we have your big meat cleaver. Now this looks like it was, they just finished using it. Let's be honest. And maybe you want to show how sadistic Dr. Mindbender is. Or maybe you have a new character. Maybe a Dr. Mind Slaughter, which I've talked about. That's who we created, right? And he's just bloody. He's brutal, right? And that just looks awesome. And you can see where they were obviously doing most of the cutting. But the handle is painted absolutely wonderful. It's nice and straight. It does have some flex to it because it is 3D printed, but it stays straight. Then we get our big butcher knife. Again, you can tell the damage that it had done. Handle is painted nicely. But everything here, just awesome. And then we have one more knife. And what is great is these are all different knives. And here is your serrated bread knife. Now this one is clearly used to cutting through bone. All right. Oh, I cannot believe I just said that. Handle is painted. Blood is all over it. And yeah. But there you go. That is a little bit of this and a little bit of that from Gridiron Studios. Again, I can't say enough good things about the detail that these things give you. Yes, expensive, pricey, but they're meant to go on top of what you're already collecting. It's up to you to decide if that's what you want to go with. Not everyone wants to, and that is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with saying, hey, I like what G.I. Joe gives me. Perfectly fine. I like what Marvel Legends gives me. Perfectly fine. All right, let's wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And in all honesty, the highlight, what I really want to show off was the knife set, which I thought was awesome. But then making this, he looks so badass. This really makes your shadow tracker look even that much better. And yes, I figured out his name. So all you people who are screaming, it's Shadow Tracker! I know it. I just couldn't always remember stuff. Because trying to do stuff like this, one take, and you'll be like, what was I gonna say? Anyway, there you go. Look at that. I'm gonna get out of here. But before I do, a few things I gotta say. First, the Facebook group page. Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. But I guess I have to add on to this because a lot of people have been joining, I'm assuming because they're watching. There are 3 questions. You have to answer the questions. That is how we keep the trolls out. That is how we keep the bots out. That is how we keep people out that don't really collect toys. I'm not going to continue to go through your Facebook profile to see if you have toys or if we have mutual friends. I'm just going to start saying declined. Very simple. I'm not asking very much. Instagram, Punk with Toys. There's 2 of them. Subscribe to both of them because a little bit of different content on both. A matter of fact, I'm going to be posting more Rumble stuff or the videos to Rumble on the second account because that is the backup account. Now I'm going to take off. Before I do, please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop Gridiron, G.I. Joe, something cool that you're going to like. But I'm going to get out of here. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to leave one of the Gridiron stuff right here. And down here is a playlist of all the Gridiron stuff that I've done. And that playlist is growing tremendously. Have a wonderful day.